Hello and welcome back to the Taylor Seminars where we talk about how Taylor Swift turns life into poetry. My name is Hannah and I'm here with my beautiful co-host Exquisite. Hello.
Hello, hello,
For
hello.
those of you who don't know, Exquisite and I actually met in person a few days ago.
Which is so crazy. We really were in the same room. We were eye to eye.
Yeah, we were in the same room at the same time, you might say.
Yeah.
All
Oh
the
my,
planets and the stars aligned.
that was good. That
Yeah,
was good.
yeah. We took pictures together. We were actually at the Biltmore in downtown Los Angeles, which is where the Delicate music video was filmed, or some of it anyway.
Yep. Yep. And it was like, it was delicate. It was so beautiful in there. And Hannah bought me one drink, and
She
I
downed
haven't
that
drunk it in
cocktail like a shot.
a while.
I
It
was
went
shocked.
right to my head.
Yeah, you had a great time though
I
afterwards. I
was
will
the
say,
liquor in our cocktails
you,
that night, I think.
you definitely were the liquor in our cocktails.
No, it was great. It was great. I have to get back out to the West Coast soon.
And I would love to have you. Um, so with that, we are on to track 6 of Midnight's, which has kind of the title track, Midnight Rain,
Yep, kind of. But then also it's like Lavender Haze, also kinda the title
right?
track.
Because it has the Meet Me at Midnight.
Yeah. But I mean Midnight Rain, we'll give her the title track. I love Midnight Rain. It's 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Taylor Swift should never release an under 3 minute song. I hate when she does it because the song is always so good and then you look up and it's over.
Yeah, yeah. It is one of the very few songs that's under the 3-minute mark.
Mhm.
And I mean, the first time I heard this song, I was like, who is singing? Is I mean, pretty quickly you were like, okay, I think this is Taylor, obviously with her voice like run through some machines, but still,
Mhm.
I was like, oh, for a second, I was like, what is happening? But clearly, her and Jack were having a great time messing around.
They were literally just having the time of their life. They were doing anything.
Yeah. Um, so let's get started. Let's dive in. I'll start with that intro with Taylor's manipulated voice. Rain, he wanted it comfortable. I wanted that pain. He wanted a bride. I was making my own name. Chasing that fame, he stayed the same. All of me changed like midnight.
What an opening. Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
And I I just feel like immediately we are in that section of You're on Your Own Kid where she's like, there's just one who can make me stay all my days.
hmm,
Um, and we're here. We're here. It's Midnight Rain. And she's like, she just paints it clearly. She's like, he wanted comfortable. I did not. And he
yeah.
wanted a bride, but I was making my own name, which I really enjoy because, typically, at least by I guess American, maybe also British. I know it's different, at least in a lot of Hispanic cultures. When you're married, you take the last name of the person you marry. And that would be
Typically the
like
male.
Taylor's
Yeah,
reality. Yeah. Typically you take uh if you are marrying a man and you are a woman, typically you take their last name. Or that's what's to be expected. So the he wanted a bride, but I was making my own name is really like I really enjoy that.
yeah, and I love that because in that white Taylor's white. So in this white view of like the perfect nuclear family of a marriage, right? You have the man will go out and work, she will take his name and she will stay home with their two children, the picket fence, the dog. But there's no room for the woman necessarily to go out and do more things. Granted, again, this is very different today. Is it?
Hmm.
Maybe. Anyway, but that's kind of the vibe she's working with. So, yeah, she wanted to chase that fame. She wanted to be ambitious, but he didn't. He wanted to be comfortable, live the suburban life with The big backyard and the two-story house with
Yep.
a pool.
2.5 kids and
Yes.
a white picket
Yeah.
fence. And a white picket fence.
Yeah, and I love that it starts out with the word rain because it just makes me think
Mm-hmm.
of like a rainy midnight night, right? Like it's not
Yep.
just some random midnight. There's a specific rain that's happening here, and we'll see how it contrasts more with in the rest of the song.
Yeah. But yeah, so she has a, I was making my own name, chasing that fame, but he stayed the same. So he stayed wanting his just comfortable life.
Yeah, which isn't
While
necessarily a
she,
bad thing. They just wanted different things.
mm-hmm. While she was changing, like midnight, which is such an interesting simile to compare yourself to midnight.
I
And it's
agree.
like, what do you think of that, Hannah? What do you think of that simile?
Yeah, because to me, it should be like all of me changed at midnight, right? That's the
Mm-hmm.
Cinderella, right? That's the spell ending or spell casting, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I do think like, but at midnight things do change, right? Like, you go literally into a new day, into a new possibilities, a new dimension, even, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so to me, it's still it evokes the Cinderella kind of transformation, but it also is true that yeah, like midnight, like going from February 1st to February 2nd, like going from PM, right, 11:59 PM to 12 a.m., you it is different. It's not the same.
Yeah. And I also kind of see it like as a very natural change. It was always going to happen for her. He stays the same, like he is stuck in this one time, but she is changing like midnight. It's always going to come and it's always like tick, tick, tick closer to midnight
Ooh,
as we
I
grow.
like that.
Constantly changing and becoming something new every new midnight, you know? So, yeah, that's what I think. Like she's like, I'm constantly changing. Well, he is not. Um, and she had no choice but to change.
I love that. All right, why don't you get into I guess it's technically the verse.
Yeah. My town was a wasteland full of cages, full of fences, pageant queens, and big pretenders. But for some, it was paradise. My boy was a montage, a slow motion love potion, jumping off things in the ocean. I broke his heart because he was nice. He was sunshine. I was midnight rain. She is so fun.
She is so fun.
She's so fun. I love the idea of her being like the way she describes her hometown of like it's full of cages. Like it's a wasteland to her, like specifically to this type of person who wants like bigger things. That small town would be a wasteland, you know? She's like,
Yeah, it's a barren, there's no growth, there's nothing shiny or sparkly. It's just emptiness. Like I picture dry, dusty plains, but filled with yeah, cages, fences, right?
mhm.
Prevent you from running free and doing whatever you want, roaming around, right? Like fence you in,
Yep.
right?
No, literally, yeah. Yeah. It's also like when you think about um But Daddy, I Love Him, which is like in the future, hasn't happened yet. And it's describing almost a small town girl who's like in a cage and she's like, I'm gonna do whatever I want, kind of, you know?
Yeah, she says,
So,
I want you to floor it through the fences, right? To her
yep.
wild
Mhm.
lover. Yeah.
So she's always been kind of like imagining this idea of the town where she was from would have shackled her in,
Yeah.
even though it's full of like pageant queens, but they're also like big pretenders, you know? And Taylor has mentioned pageants a lot, kind of. She's like, her pageant smiles, like all of this stuff.
A Pageant Smile and Miss
Um,
Americana the Heartbreak Prince. She has
mm-hmm.
the pageant and Speak Now,
Yeah,
right?
for
Like
the
the bride is
literally
like
the
a
song.
yeah, she's like a pageant queen, right? Like
Yeah.
she floats down the aisle like a pageant queen.
And then
Um,
there's Dorothea.
we got to talk about
Um,
Dorothea.
just skipping the prom just to piss off your mom and the pageants queen
Schemes.
scheme, which is also like anytime Taylor's like small town, like whenever she's thinking of something that's in a small town, it's always like there's a pageant thing going on. So Taylor, what's your thing with pageants? Even in like kind of Thank You Amy, even though I don't think she mentions pageant specifically, you get that same vibes of when she's like, okay, small town, who are the most popular people in the small town?
Yeah.
The ones who do pageants. Those are the stars of the small the stars of the
Yeah.
small town,
Yeah.
right? So they're pageant queens and big pretenders.
Yeah.
But
Big pretenders could be to me like big shots, right? Like people who
mhm,
think they're these like very cool, very um powerful people, but you're just you used to be the QB on the high school football
mhm.
team. You're not that big of a deal.
Exactly. But for some people, it's paradise. Not for her, but for some people. And then I love that, but for some, it was paradise. And then right after she gets into who her boy was. So she mentions those people, and then she's like, let me give you more specifics about why it's
Right,
paradise
right.
for this dude who I loved or could have loved.
Yeah, it was, and a montage, right, is like a series of generally images, movies, right? Like images, a video
Mhm.
of that are spliced together that give you, sometimes it can give you a little timeline, like a encapsulation, different facets of the story. For example, there's often like a
Mhm.
the montage when the girl in like a high school movie gets a glow up, right? Where they go shopping and then they put on makeup and then at the end, wow, she's wearing the beautiful dress. Like um
Mhm.
so yeah, so her boy is a montage, which is again a very interesting comparison. What do you think?
Yeah. I also really love it because it's like the idea of those like the small town movies are the movies that are like those early 2000s movies or the 90s movies where they have a lot of like montages of like the small town girl becomes prom queen. She's like he is like him as a person is just the ideal type for a certain thing. So he's a montage. He is he is like you look at him and you can see your whole life with him kind of like passing in front
Yes.
of your eyes. Like this is what we're going to be. And it would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Um if that's what you wanted because it's slow motion, it's love potions like I love the way she goes slow motion love potion, jumping off things in the ocean. Like she has a sound,
Yeah.
um, which kind of gives like this kind of sleepy, dreamy quality actually when
Mhm.
you like listen to it, even though, um, and
Yeah.
so she's like listing all these things that make it like really nice, and also that sound kind of like soothes you to me. Like it's like this whole point where she's talking about him is kind of soothing and stagnant even. And then she like flips us, and she's like, "I broke his heart. He was nice."
Yeah. Yeah. The jumping off things in the ocean, just to go back a little bit, that adds to I think the montage of like if you don't know, it's like imagining like those Instagram influencer couples who like jump off the cliffs on their
Hmm.
on their vacations, or whatever. But anyway, but yeah, I broke his heart because he was nice is like so sad. Like it's
I
not that you
know.
did anything wrong per se, right? In fact, you were a nice guy, you're a good guy, but we were incompatible.
You know what it's giving? One of the best songs of all time on Fearless, The Way I Loved You. Because he is sensible and so incredible, and all my single friends are jealous, you
Hmm.
know? He says everything I need to hear, and it's like I couldn't ask for anything better. But
That but
I've been screaming and crying and kissing it in the right. Oh my gosh. That song, like not the tangent, but I I like knew what an album was, but I didn't know what an album was. So while I was a Swiftie from debut, Fearless is when I realized what album tracks were
yeah.
because I only knew the things that were on the radio, and my radio did play quite a lot of songs from her debut album. But Fearless, when I was like looking stuff up, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't know this song yet, and I clicked it, and I was like, oh, there's more Taylor Swift songs.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is Midnight Rain is kind of a little bit of not a grown it is a little bit if you like look at Fearless and you look at those like idealized like men or the like you belong with me music videos, it's always these like people, small town boys that she wanted to be in love with and grow up with and have this life with. And she's like, oh, actually, I have, I realized some bigger dreams of mine. Hello, 15.
Hello. Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
15
that's
is
what she brought
the
heart.
first verse is definitely very 15 coded, right? The other thing
Hmm.
I thought about for I Broke His Heart Because He Was Nice was actually from Suburban Legends, which is a vault track from the 1989,
Yeah.
which is tick tock on the clock. I paced down your block. I broke my own heart because you were too polite to do it. So in this one, she broke his heart because he was nice. But in the future,
Hmm.
she breaks her
Hmm.
own heart because this guy wouldn't do it
Yep. Oh, Taylor.
because he was
Oh,
he was too
Taylor.
nice. Like her niceness meant that she would take this action, but his
Yeah.
this other guy's niceness in the future meant he just strung her along. Boo.
You kind of get some like hints of Miss the Bolter here, of like she had to cut this dude loose because he was too nice for her. He wouldn't have followed her into fame or whatever. But also, that's like why she'd run. She doesn't know if he would have left and stayed with her. She doesn't know
I think he wouldn't have
if
left
she
with her.
left.
The first
I
two.
don't think he would have. But, it is it I think that maybe that's why this is one of the things keeping her up at night. And we'll get a little bit to it when we do like the kind of outro kind of bridge she gave us, of the idea of her being like, what if I had given him the chance to come with me, or what if I had stayed? What person is that?
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, I can't. We'll get into that. But to finish off this section and the juxtaposition between sunshine and midnight rain, right? Sun shines in the day. Midnight is always a night. The shining
Hmm.
sun is warm and beautiful, and the opposite is rain. And so, rain and midnight is, if you're not super tropical, it's cold, it's miserable. It is kind of sad to see her viewing herself as midnight rain and in not I don't think it's very necessarily positive. This is again her in the middle of the night. This is her self-loathing album. Right? Like Sunshine is the one everyone wants to be, but she's like I'm this weirdo. I'm a deranged weirdo who is midnight rain.
Yeah. Ugh, ugh, yeah. She's like, I am the rain.
Yeah.
I'm ruining
Yeah, the
things.
rain's going to come if you're standing with me because I am the rain.
Exactly. You want to read verse 2?
Yes. Um It came like a postcard. Picture perfect, shiny family, holiday peppermint candy. But for him, it's every day. So I peered through a window, a deep portal, time travel, all the love we unravel, and the life I gave away, 'cause he was sunshine, I was midnight rain.
I think the second verse is maybe my favorite verse in this song. Um, which is just, I just like the way she sings it, and I like the it came like a postcard. I guess the like update of what he's doing
Yeah,
now.
it's like it came
She's
out of the
like,
blue. Like you never expect
perfect.
a postcard, right? It just shows
Yeah.
up.
And also it's this perfect idyllic life that this man is living now. Shiny family, they spend holidays together. And she's like, that is so weird. That's strange. But for him, he does this all the time. Like his life is a postcard
Yeah.
now.
He has the dog and the 2.5 kids and the wife and the picket fence and
And
the
the Thanksgiving.
and the SUV and soccer practice, all that.
Yeah. Um,
And because
and
of
I
that,
just,
she
yeah.
spiraled. She peered
Yep.
through she looked in people's windows.
Literally, I was gonna say she was looking in people's windows. And I love the exactly she spiraled. She saw it. Maybe she saw like an Instagram post. That's what some people I've seen say it. Or she just saw like a Facebook update and she's like, oh, uh-oh. And she's spiraling a deep portal, time travel, and she's like going all the way back down of like what we could have been.
Hmm.
And that is she's like the life I gave away. I love the agency there of her being like, and the life I she chose to give it
Right.
away. And you but also while she's singing it, you can almost feel there are like shades of regret that she's like,
Yeah.
I
The
could have
I'm addicted to the if only.
Exactly. She's like, this could have been, that could have been me, that could have been my baby, my family. And from what we know of Torture Poe's Department and of Taylor's desires for like home, hearth, family, um, I can understand why that would send her spiraling. If she was in a state of like, I'm not getting that right now, was it my choice to not stay in my hometown and get with the person that I could have seen myself forever with? And but I just had to be this person who wanted pain instead of comfort, right?
Yeah, because as we've talked about throughout this season, I guess, of our podcast, right? Like, again, with hindsight, we can see more clearly that this album was birthed from a very tumultuous time in her life. We've talked about
Mm-hmm.
the M word, right, in
Yeah.
previous episodes. And so for her to suddenly get this postcard of a happily married family, and she's like, wait, like, was that my only chance to get it? Like, if I am this monster on a hill, if I am this person who you know, goes from, you know, plays my songs in the parking lot and runs away and takes the taxi.
Mm-hmm.
Did I, is that, do I, can I not have this? Right. Like, and so you can feel, yeah, the tinges of maybe not necessarily regret, maybe a little bit of regret, but also just, yeah,
It's
the,
not a lot of regret, but
it's the
I
what
guess
ifs.
maybe yeah, it's the what if. It's the you know when you know when you have like maybe an ex or something and you see that they're engaged and you're like, I never want to be with that person, but I'm not engaged and that could have been me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that weird complicated feeling of that could have been me. Would I have liked that if that was me? That you have, and it does cause you a spiral. I spiraled recently, not recently, it wasn't that recently, it was like a year and a half ago, 2 years
Oh,
ago,
that's not
where
recent.
I'm like, exactly, where I'm like, oh my God, that could have been me if I hadn't left where I was. Even though leaving where I was for the better, you still have those moments where you're like, let's go back in time.
Especially if you're already, if the place you are at now is not a good place,
Hmm.
right? Like, it's
Exactly.
easy to like see someone doing well when you're doing well, and you're like, I'm so
Exactly.
happy for them. And you will not peer through a window, a deep portal, a time travel, right? Like, if you are
Yeah.
happy, they're happy, everyone's happy. But if you are having unhappy thoughts, it is easy to go into those rabbit holes. And
Yeah. And really just start again. The spiral continues.
right. All right, do you want to do the outro?
Yes. Again, we don't really get a bridge here because Taylor's evil and the song is short. But we do get this outro. I guess sometimes we all get just what we wanted, just what we wanted. And he never thinks of me except for when I'm on TV. And I guess sometimes we all get some kind of haunted. And I never think of him except on midnights like this, which is, again, she's like, only when it's dark and I am sad and depressed, that's when I'm like, oh, this is what we could have had.
Yeah, because both of them ended up with what they wanted. He got the nice
Exactly.
suburban family. She got the fame, the
Hmm.
like the fame from the lucky one and all those things.
Hmm.
And he never thinks of me because he's happy, except when I'm on TV, when I show up at an award show.
Exactly. The only time he sees me is he's like, oh, it's Taylor again.
Yeah, look at her. She won album
And
of the
she's probably
year.
like a fond joke now, where it's like, especially it doesn't, she says she broke his heart, but it doesn't seem like it was such a tragic breakup, you know?
Yeah, and then
It doesn't seem like it was a traumatic breakup. She broke up with him, but it seems like now that he's older, like he's not pondering the what ifs, but sometimes he sees her on TV and he's like, huh, remember when I dated her when
yeah,
we were younger?
yeah, yep.
Like
That's the
cool
vibe.
story to tell his kids now.
Yeah, but sometimes we all get haunted, which is
Uh-huh.
right. And haunted is not a positive, does not have as much of a positive connotation as you would like. This is haunted
Mm-hmm.
by a ghost. We've already seen
Mm-hmm.
ghosts in Antihero. Um, and yeah, being haunted by something means something is hovering over you and making you remember things that you don't want to remember, or forcing you to face things that you didn't want to face. Think of any horror movie.
Yep.
And there are, and it's not just one midnight where she's haunted, it's many midnights.
Yep. Yeah, and I think I really enjoy the fact, like, again, I love when Taylor sets up a sentence and something follows it, like I was saying earlier, where she goes, but for some it was paradise, and then she mentioned the my boy like right after. Versus here, she goes, we get what we wanted, and then he never thinks. But then when she's talking about sometimes we all get haunted, and then she says what's haunting her when it's midnight, and she's like, he's haunting me again because I'm thinking and I'm really spiraling is what it is. And I feel like that's why this gets to be the title track because Midnights is about being haunted at midnights, on midnights like this, where she's up,
Yeah, and why is she up? It's not happy thoughts, likely.
not happy thoughts.
Yeah. I want to go back a little bit to something that we mentioned before, which is the song Dorothea. So Dorothea and the song "Tis the Damn Season" are both on
Yep.
Evermore, and I think they
Mm-hmm.
touch the most on this theme. So Evermore
Yeah.
is semi-fictional, based on her life a lot. And Taylor said that the characters in "Tis the Damn Season" and Dorothea are within the Betty August James like
Which a
universe.
lot of people forget. I think for Evermore, she's so overlooked that people forget that we have explicitly stated these two songs are connected from Miss Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Because she said it in her intro to Evermore. Um, and so yeah, continue with you were saying about Dorothea and
Yeah.
Tis the Damn Season.
I think that she's already kind of playing with this idea of like a somebody who had dreams and went away. Like, hey Dorothea, do you ever stop and think about me? She's out there selling makeup and magazines. She's made it.
Mm-hmm.
And this the woman before she gets super famous coming back to town once and
Mm-hmm.
reconnecting with her old flame and being like, this we have chosen different roads, but right now the road that we haven't traveled looks so good. And like,
Yep,
what if
right
we went?
before she goes back to LA with her so-called friends who write books about her if she'll ever make it.
And I think this is, again, I don't think Dorothea and Tis Season are exactly explicitly autobiographical because she says it's not. But I do think this idea of like leaving a small town and wondering if you made the right decision or not is universal for people who have left small towns or
Mm-hmm.
just left your hometown in general, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
this yeah, the if onlys and the what ifs are so powerful. And yeah, the fact that she's able to explore it to such a deeper extent on Midnights is, it just really
Yeah.
makes it beautiful. I love these three songs so much.
It's so funny. That's like another triplet. I can make triplet 13 now of if you go Tis the Damn Season first, then Dorothea, then Midnight Rain. It does tell that story of like Tis the Damn Season is the two of them hooking up again. And then Dorothea is that person like I'm living my life, but I'm looking at you and on TV being like, you were so happy here. And then Midnight Rain, she's like, well, I wasn't happy there, but I do think of you. Like, ugh,
Yeah.
what a trio of songs. And then it's like if you you can get into even further if you want to just toss in I look in people's windows again.
Yeah. Yeah. Add that in as at the end.
But I like to keep the triplets. So I'm actually gonna make it. But
Yeah. I mean, I think that could be one triplet. And then I'm sure you could make another triplet with Midnight Rain, I Look in People's Windows, and then something else. Maybe TS12.
yeah.
Something will be in there. That'll complete that triplet. Like, it'll be
Yeah,
a
yeah.
different one.
Taylor give us TS12. TS12, we're inside you. We're waiting for you.
I need that to actually happen so that we can come back to this podcast and be like, see, we knew.
But it probably will happen because Taylor listens to the
She
podcast.
does. She does. She has been eagerly expecting this. Um, but yeah, no, I absolutely love what she did to this, not to this, when she performed this song on the tour,
Yes.
right? Where she, has that, she's wearing, I think, still wearing the anti hero, like, long
Hmm.
shirt. And then the dancers come out with their umbrellas and they cover her, and then she comes out in her like glittery bodysuit
Yes.
with the garter.
Yeah, and she looks so good. And then I love her little, except when I'm on TV and she does her cute little thing at the screen.
Where
She's a
she's kind of
sweetie pie.
flirts with the audience, does like funny faces and things like that. And
Hmm.
I think, yeah, this song is another one that really talks about her fame and the impact it has had on her life. Like she, she had to choose between her career and a relationship, which many women do on a day-to-day basis, but she had it in a whole other level.
Yep.
And you know, the fact that she was able to create a song and play with the production and the voice. I mean, do you have any theories as to why she didn't really do a bridge? I'll let you think about it. My theory is that she's kind of I think she feels stuck. Like I think she's in this spiral, in this time loop portal thing. And to
Hmm.
have a bridge, it's supposed to take you somewhere, like bring you back to the in the making of a song. I don't remember what it's called, like, but when she did the Lover promo at the New York Times, her and Jack talked about making Lover the song, and Jack talks about how a
Hmm.
bridge is supposed to take you somewhere and then bring you back to the chorus, and it means something different, it
Hmm.
means something more. I don't think she had a more, right? I think
Yeah.
it just fades into that outro, and then
I
she's like
was
just
I was
sad.
about to say the same thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, no, I was literally like, because we don't have a bridge. Because in theory, where the outro is, it would be like the start of the bridge. But then she's like, oh, stuck here. And, bridges are like point A to point B, and she's stuck in the middle. Like, she cannot move forward with her life because she keeps looking back. And so we just have the Midnights like this. And that's what Midnights is. Midnights is a bridge album when you really think about it. When you think about it,
When you think
Midnights is a bridge
critically
album.
and you observe.
It's a bridge album because you have to think without Midnights. Midnights to me is the bridge that gets us from the re-recordings to TTPD because Midnights was birthed through the process of her re-recording all her albums.
Absolutely.
And then everything that came with Midnights and the Eras tour together not caused, but kind of was the spark that led to all of the everything that ended up being TTPD. So Midnights is the mother of TTPD. We've talked about this, but it's also the bridge. It is the bridge album where she keeps looking back at point A because she doesn't know where point B is yet.
Yeah. And I also feel like after You're on Your Own Kid, and I think because of Midnight Rain, where she's like fully in her insomnia mode, now we're really
Mm.
going to start to get into the songs where she's really just reliving these memories, right? We're,
Like, oh my goodness. And it does happen because we get questioned in the vigilante shit and then bejeweled and then labyrinth. Like she is stuck. She is spiraling.
yeah. She's going to pull herself out with like Labyrinth, Karma, Sweet Nothing, Mastermind. And then she's gonna hit us in the face with a sledgehammer with the Great War
Yeah.
to Dear Reader.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited to
Yeah,
talk about. Question is going to be fun. That'll be fun next week.
totally. Your little Haler
Can I
side's
ask
gonna
you
come
a
out.
question? Can I ask you a question, Hannah?
What's your question?
Do you have an emoji?
Oh, that's a great segue. I love that. I mean,
Thank you. Thank you.
we could do, the obvious umbrella, but I don't think we
Hmm.
have to be that obvious. I was thinking, is there like a portal emoji? No, there is not.
There is a whole emoji.
Oh, okay, yeah. There is a whole.
Like
Yeah, it just looks like someone has a manhole cover and took it off like into the sewers.
which is actually the start of me and Hannah's friendship. Many people don't know that. The whole emoji.
Very funny.
They don't know.
They
They
don't
don't
know.
know that.
So if you don't know, everybody, I tweeted once, "I'm home" in all caps, but I spelled it wrong. So it said, "I'm whole." And Exquisite thought it was the funniest thing in the world. And I tried to delete it very quickly, but she had screenshot it and she sent it to me. And after that, we were friends.
Yep.
So if you stuck around for the end of this episode, you've got some great lore.
Yeah.
Wow, that was such a good time.
Yeah.
Oh man, look where we are now, and now we've met.
I know, isn't that crazy?
I love that. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Come back next time for question. And
Mm-hmm.
please support us on social media. You can tip us on Ko-Fi. If not, just interact with us. Hashtag Midnight Seminars on whatever platform. You can comment. If you're on Spotify, we read your comments. So yeah, we thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you.